At this point, like I felt, you know what, this is not even hosting anymore. This is a full-on hostage negotiation. And obviously, I was the freaking hostage in that freaking scenario. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone's doing well. Okay, so this is the festive summer season and I got a 3-day booking and I accepted the booking. Everything looked correct. The person had really good reviews, nothing to worry about, right? Now, the day of the check-in, let's call these people the wildcard Wilsons. Okay, so the day of check-in, they tell me that they are in town a bit early. So that is what, noon. Again, I should have listened to my gut feeling, but for some reason that day I just felt nice. I said, okay, you guys can come in at noon. I wish I had not, but I did say, okay, I just felt nice that way that day. That's okay. It's 1 p.m. and at this point, I can hear a parked car. So I notice pickup truck parked in front of my house. And then suddenly I hear a bunch of footsteps, loud noises. I look outside telling myself that this group is definitely not coming to my house. This is just people walking around. They're not coming to my house. I can hear them on my front porch, like boom, 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 boom. I hear footsteps. I'm hearing adult footsteps, but also I'm hearing like a bunch of mini footsteps. No worries, I hear the code being punched in. Beep, 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 beep. The door unlocks. I notice the family, but something else that I'm noticing, let's call this kid Ruckus. Ruckus is having both hands on his waist as the door opens, and at that moment, like when I tell you that like child made full eye contact with me, like for a solid 3 seconds, I knew that at that moment that was just war, right? Of course, like I didn't want to have any prejudice, but it didn't look good, just that initial encounter. Okay, cool. I show them where their rooms are. They go, they unpack, whatever. At this point, the house isn't really like noisy or anything. I also started focusing on other things. I make myself a quick sandwich and just go on with my day, right? Because I have other stuff going on. Okay, then it starts getting really loud because the wild card Wilsons were so comfortable. You know when a group of people are comfortable in a shared space? As a host, for me at least, I'll think that like the best guests are those that like, you know, like they're in their space and they're comfortable, somewhat comfortable, but like somewhat also reserved and they follow the rules and stuff like that. That wasn't them. The wild card Wilsons decide to get hella comfortable. Like I'm telling you, like I go upstairs to my room to work, come back downstairs. They're now like they've taken the whole living room. They invited 2 other people. They're drinking beers. I just ate something quickly and just went to my room because I didn't want to be part of any of the energy that I encountered down there. Like I didn't want to be part of that. I'm in my room and all I hear is a bunch of like small feet just like running around the corridor, right on the first level, the first floor, just running around the corridor. It gets worse because now there's stairs involved, right? It's like this toddler was a staircase master, just running down the stairs, up the stairs, down the stairs, up the stairs, and then like the same thing over and over and over again. That was going crazy. That was day 1. And honestly, like I wish I had stopped it right there. Day 2, Ruckus is the person in the household that decides when people wake up. How do I know? Because when Ruckus wakes up, everyone else is gonna be woken up too, including me. So that's when I knew that I had lost full control of the household. Ruckus decides to make a bunch of noise at 7:30 a.m. when I was trying to have like my weekend beauty sleep. Ruckus decides to scream and I wake up and I'm like, oh my God, this is what I signed up for. Like at that point, this is it. Like I signed up for it, it's too late. This is what my life is gonna be. I'm not surprised it was Ruckus. And something else I knew that was going on. For some reason, what was going on was just they were playing The Floor is Lava. How did I know this? Because in addition to all the running around and noise and shouting that I heard, I unfortunately had to go downstairs and eat. My living room slash kitchen and dining room are now like a full-on circuit, and everything is scattered, the chairs moved around, and this kid is jumping on my sofa shirtless. Like at that point, when I just saw this kid was just shirtless with shorts jumping around, I just knew that like that was his house. This kid was jumping from the table to the sofa, like from the sofa to the chairs, just like he was just not trying to touch the floor, and jumping from the stairs to like other chairs. It was so crazy. At this point, I'm like, okay, Ruckus is, you're not even, you're what, you're probably like what, 3, 4? First of all, how are you moving all these furniture? And where are these parkour skills coming from? This kid was swinging on a bunch of things. Okay, I know what you guys are thinking. You're saying that, oh, but why didn't the parents say anything? Ruckus had other plans, right? Because his mom and dad would take him aside for 5 to 10 minutes, tell him how all the stuff that he was doing was completely awful, and then Ruckus would calm down for what, 5 to 10 minutes again, and guess what? The same thing reoccurs again. It's like Ruckus just doesn't get it. Ruckus just needs to show us that he can do all these things. Ruckus decides to break like a hourglass piece of art. All I hear when I go back upstairs is like something just shattering. I run downstairs, I see it's broken. I ask myself a million questions because Ruckus is a toddler. Like he's short. He's not supposed to be able to reach certain heights. So to me, I'm trying to add one and one together, and for me, it doesn't make sense how he would have gotten there in the first place to break it. Anyways, he did. As you can tell, they two had so much going on, and like I don't even know how I was able to survive that. It's now day 3. Ruckus versus the neighbors. Ruckus decides that it's a good idea to go and pay a visit to my neighbors. And guess who he decides to go along with him? His little sister, who somehow manages to be the Picasso in this scenario because she drew this lady figure and they're about to go around the neighborhood showing her artistic skills to my whole neighbor. At this point, I'm in my room. I don't want to leave the room, but through the slightest slit in the curtains, I'm just like going full on espionage, looking outside, trying to figure out what other piece of trouble they're trying to bring to me today. When I see these 2 kids running around the neighborhood and going to talk to the neighbors. I'm about to go downstairs because I'm like, okay, one thing I know for a fact is that people are not so fond of short-term rentals because for some reason here in Canada, the whole government made us believe that this is why we have a shortage of houses and why housing is unaffordable. So a lot of the time, the sentiment around short-term rentals is not very positive. So they walk up to my neighbor as they're walking up, like I'm about to call Ruckus's mom to calm down the situation because why is your kid running to my neighbor's house and about to knock? Luckily enough, they got to the door and the mom just quickly grabbed them and brought them back inside. At that point, I was scared because I know that once they start knocking and we start getting reports, this activity might not go too far because of this one person, and I was not trying to have that. I was ready to file an incident report on myself because this was just like too crazy for me to think about. Finally, this was the last day and it was time for them to check out. Checkout was pretty smooth, surprisingly. Of course, besides the psychological damage, emotional damage, and all the toys that was just like left around lying in the living room, bathroom, and in the garden that I had to pick up. Everything else was okay. I was so happy when I found out that, like, okay, this is it. They were just gone. I was so happy because I could finally just sleep and not hear a bunch of noises. I toggled the no children filter so fast. Airbnb sent me a survey asking me if I was okay, because obviously I was not. It was crazy. This is it, guys. This is how this story ended. I went through 3 days of hell, pain, and I mean, yeah, the money was good, but I wish I could have just avoided all that. Have you ever hosted a toddler tornado like this before? Please leave your wildest kid-related story in the comments. And if you're a parent, just wow, no shade. Like, I get it. I personally don't know how you guys do that. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and avoid early check-ins in the summer. Peace.